Advanced Algebra Mastery Quiz number 11. The first part of the mastery quiz is as follows. Given the function f of x equals 4x minus 7 and g of x equals 5x squared, complete the following computations. The first one that we are going to do is f of x times g of x. So we are going to take the function 4x minus 7 and we are going to multiply that to the g of x, which is 5x squared. All we have to do on that one is distribute the 5x squared. So 5x squared times 4x gives us 20x squared, or cubed, sorry, 20x cubed. Minus 5 times 7 is 35, so minus 35x squared. The first one is done. The next one, we are going to take the f of x, and we're going to plug that function into the g of x. So we're going to take 4x minus 7, and we're going to plug it into the x for the 5x squared. So we have 5 parentheses 4x minus 7 squared. Now remember what that means. That means 5 times 4x minus 7 times 4x minus 7. So we are going to have to use FOIL. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use the box to do my FOIL. So 4x minus 7, 4x minus 7. All right. So first terms, 4x makes 16x squared. Outside terms, 4x and negative 7 make negative 28x. Inside terms, negative 7 and 4x make negative 28x. And last terms, negative 7 and negative 7 make positive 49. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and write this out. So this will be 5 times, all right, 16x squared. These two terms can be added together. That will give us negative 56x and the plus 49 in the back. Okay, the last step, multiply everything by 5. 5 times 16 would give us 80, so 80x squared. 5 times negative 56 gives us negative or minus 280x. And then 5 times 49 should be plus 245. Okay, that one is done. Next, in this next one, we are going to take the function g of x and plug it into the function of f. So we're going to take the 5x squared and plug it into the x of 4x minus 7. Okay, well this one is way easier because when I replace the x with 5x squared, so 4 times 5x squared and then minus 7, all I have to do is multiply 4 times 5. So I get 20x squared minus 7. Done. All right, moving on. So the next thing we're going to do is evaluate the expression using a calculator. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Change from a radical expression to a fractional exponent first. So the first thing we need to do is rewrite this 4700, and it's a cubic root, so we're going to use a fractional exponent of 1/3. Okay, now when you type that in on the calculator, don't forget to use the caret key and use parentheses. So we have 4700 to the 1/3 power. That is approximately 16.75. Okay, that's pretty easy. Let's move on to the last two. Solve the following radical equations. Check for extraneous solutions. Remember, extraneous means we'll get an answer, but when we plug that answer back in, it does not work. So it's a solution, but it does not work in the original equation. All right, here we go. So the first thing we're going to do on this one is we got to get the radical by itself. So we're going to go ahead and add 6. So we have 4 square roots of x minus 1 equals 16. Divide by 4. All right, so now we have the square root of x minus 1 equals 4. Okay, we have isolated the radical. Once we have isolated the radical, we can then get rid of it. Okay, but first we have to isolate it on one side. Square both sides to get rid of the square root. So we have x minus 1 equals 16, and add 1 to both sides, and we find out that x equals 17. Okay, now I'm going to check to see if 17 is a solution or is it an extraneous solution. So I'm going to plug it back into the original equation. So I'm going to go 4 square roots of 17 minus 1 minus 6, and it should equal 10 when I'm all done. So let's see, 4 times the square root of 16 minus 6. Square root of 16 is 4, so this is 4 times 4 minus 6. 4 times 4 is 16, 16 minus 6, and yes, 10 equals 10. So 17 is a solution. It is not extraneous. It's good. Okay? All right, number 6. On this one, the square root or the radical is already isolated, so the only thing we can do is square both sides. So now we're left with x squared equals negative x plus 20. Well, I have an x squared, so I have a quadratic. So either A, I need to get it so that I can factor it, or B, I need to get it set up so that I can use the quadratic formula. And either way, remember, it has to equal 0. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is move the negative x to the other side and move the 20 to the other side. So that becomes x squared plus x minus 20 equals 0. Okay, well, this one's not too bad to factor, so I would prefer to factor this one. So factors of minus 20 or negative 20 that add up to 1. Well, that would be a positive 5 and a minus 4. That multiplies to negative 20, and that adds to 1. So my solutions then, my solutions are x equals negative 5 and x equals 4. But again, I need to check to see if there's any extraneous solution. So I have 2 of them to check this time. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start with the negative 5, and I'm going to use the original equation. So I've got x equals the square root of negative x plus 20. So I'm going to plug in the negative 5. So I've got negative 5 equals the square root of negative 5 plus 20. Well, you know a negative and a negative becomes positive. So negative 5 equals the square root of 5 plus 20. And that adds up to the square root of 25. And the square root of 25 is 5. Well, okay. No, that does not work, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that does not work. Negative 5 does not equal 5. So therefore, this one is extraneous. Okay, negative 5 is extraneous. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and check out the 4 just to make sure it will work or if it won't work. So I'm going to plug 4 in. So 4 equals the square root of negative, replace the x with 4, plus 20. Well, that becomes the square root of 16, and the square root of 16 is 4. So 4 equals 4. That is true. Therefore, 4 is a true solution. It is not extraneous. So the negative 5 will not work. All right, good luck.